Welcome. I should probably introduce myself. My name is Djordje, but please feel free to call me George. That's the English equivalent. I'll be your guide. And our driver, Pero, will be giving us a safe and comfortable drive as we make our way upwards, literally upwards of these very, very dramatic cliffs that we have right above us. Okay, so we're gonna, as soon as we leave this urban center, we're gonna start climbing up into the highlands of Montenegro. So our first leg of our journey will actually take us on a 25 hairpin turn road as we make our way 3,000 feet or about 900 meters above sea level, right? So we're gonna have these spectacular views of not only where we are right here, but the entire bay. What we're looking at to the right is actually the sunny side of the bay. So we have the UNESCO half of the bay where we started this afternoon, but this is the sunny side of the bay where most of our 50,000 residents that live in the bay live. And of course you can see there's a bunch of development going on as well. We have an industrial zone that's right below us, an international airport of Tivat, which connects everything from Dublin all the way to Siberia and Russia. And so that's some of the features. And of course, you'll be getting a lot better perspective of that peninsula that is across from us. And so that will make, when I say peninsula, that will make a lot more sense as we keep getting higher and higher. So that is the body of land that actually separates our bay from the open Mediterranean Sea. Okay, but that will become a lot more clear once we start getting higher. So our tour today will include visiting three of the 5 geographic zones. So one of them is the Bay of Kotor, where we started, and we'll get wonderful views of that as we make our way up now. And of course, we'll be driving across the highlands of Montenegro, which is above us. Imagine that we're facing northward, so these are the highlands north of us. And then north of the highlands, we have our only flat and fertile part of our country. It's called the Zeta River Plain. That is where our modern capital city is located. So it's called Podgorica. So our modern capital, Podgorica, has over 200,000 inhabitants. And then beyond that flat and fertile plain of Zeta, we actually, quite surprisingly to most people, the entire north of that, so the entire northern half of the country is embedded in the most mountainous part of the Dinaric Alps. But rather the extension of those Alps that go from the south of Austria, across Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, the mountains get a little bit into Serbia, but the heart of the mountains, and I'm not saying this because I'm biased, because I'm from here, but the heart of the mountains are in our northern half of our country. So what's truly mind-bending is that our country is not only a Mediterranean country, but it is also an Alpine country, which makes it so unbelievable considering that it's just a small little package. So how small? Like I said, of course, the size of Connecticut. But try to imagine a map of Southern Europe, and if you zoom just east of the Italian of the Italian boot, you will see a diamond-shaped country. It's almost perfect, actually. So it's a diamond-shaped country. Have a good idea of what the former Yugoslavia is. So obviously we were the smallest part of that former Yugoslavia, and so Yugoslavia in general is this collection of cultures, both Islamic and Western, and Greek, Slavic, all that kind of stuff was all mixed in the former Yugoslavia. But our little country embodies all of that, all of those incredible differences, that mosaic of cultures within our own borders. Yugoslavia was comprised of 6 republics. So besides those 4 major ones that I talked about, it's also Slovenia and North Macedonia that were included. And then there's a seventh country that's vying for independence right now, and it's Kosovo as well. So about half the world recognizes Kosovo and half the world doesn't, and so it's still in the process of becoming an independent country. Actually, we speak a Slavic language, so we're from that family of languages. So just like, you know, let's say Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and French are related, so are all the Slavic languages. And the language that we speak here is, linguistically, it's called Serbo-Croatian. But ever since the former Yugoslavia split in the 1990s, we have divided that language into, well, I mean, at least on a political reality, we've divided that language into Montenegrin, Serbian, Croatian, and also we call it Bosnian. Okay, so in Bosnia and Herzegovina, the same language is spoken as well. Southern Croatia, actually, when I say Croatia, you guys do realize you can see the border of Croatia from this point. So if you look in the far right distance, and you look at that hill that's in the far right, the top of that hill, or the spine of that hill, is actually the border of Croatia. And so the mountain in question is actually named Black Mountain. The Black Mountain of our identity. And so the Black Mountain literally translates to Monte Negro in Venetian Italian. And so the Venetians were really, really important. You know, they were the New York City of its time, and they spread the word of our country and this land throughout the world. And so the international name of our country is Montenegro, the Black Mountain. This area right here is a bit of like a cottage country. It was used for grazing of cattle and whatnot in previous times, perhaps even until like the 70s and 80s. But as we keep going along our road, we were actually getting closer and closer to the heart of the royal village. Here is the center of the royal village with this little bit of market. You can see this plain opens up just a little bit wider right here, and it's able to accommodate these little micro collections of villages, and it allows for this field to be exploited by cattle, other activity right here. So this village is actually going through a little bit of a revival, which is quite needed in our rural life right here in Montenegro. So the last 10 years, which happened to coincide with the cruising industry arriving in our bay, has revived this place. So people are actually moving back to their family and ancestral homes, and, you know, reinvigorating their the practices and the methodology and the technologies of smoking and curing meat and dairy products. Century. So this was only inhabited for the last 570 years, roughly, for a period of over 400 years. Okay, that's quite a long time. But nonetheless, much of our pride comes from the fact that we were able to survive and sustain life up here. Quite lovely. It's quite lovely. And so in the main square, we have Nicholas Museum and the palace, and also the statue to hide brought our people up here.